Okay, before getting to the Mandalorian, I'm going to have to give you a brief background on the Star Wars saga, so you can understand how I feel so strongly about it. In the late 70s through the early 80s, we had Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6, which were great. They were brilliant. They were years ahead of their time, and they were so good they sort of amassed a kind of cult following. I was one of them, myself included. And everyone loves Star Wars, but we had to wait a long time for an addition to the franchise, 16 years in fact. But when they came in the form of prequels, episodes 1, 2, and 3, they were crap. They were dreadful. There was so much wrong with them. It was unbelievable. I mean, the acting was bad. The story was bad. You know, they were more like cartoons than films. And even though they were supposed to be prequels, the technology they had in them were more advanced than what they had in the other three films. I mean, how does that work? But yeah, so there was so much wrong with them. I mean, it would take an hour to list everything that was wrong with them, and to top it all, it introduced possibly the most annoying and character that's ever been on the screen in Jar Jar Binks. I mean, God, he was. Oh, you wouldn't hesitate to throw some hot grease on this sod. I think the only way I can describe him, if you haven't seen him, is a sort of Rasta goat hybrid. It's so annoying, this character, and he had like tons of screen time. But so after this, a lot of Star Wars fans were disheartened, and they thought, the franchise on its last legs now. There's no way forward. And then came Rogue One, which was brilliant. It was really good. It was a proper Star Wars film. It picked up after the events of Episode 3 and connected that to Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. But it bridged it brilliantly. I mean, it was worth watching just to see Darth Vader open up the biggest can of whoop ass you've ever seen on the Jedi's in the last 10 minutes. And then came Solo, which was all right. It weren't bad. It wasn't great, but it was watchable. And then everyone was excited when the announcement that a further saga was going to come in the shape of episodes 7, 8, and 9. What a pile of crap they were. They were worse than the episodes 1, 2, and 3 they done. I mean, not only was it they were almost carbon copies of the original three films, they were dreadful. Again, bad acting, the bad characters. It's just it was. I mean, it was such a lazy attempt to carry on the Star Wars saga. I mean, I'm just amazed that the producers actually thought Star Wars fans would accept it. Idiots. And just when Star Wars, after Rogue One and Solo, was starting to get back on its feet, starting to gain a little bit more credibility, along came these three films and dealt it the biggest kick up the arse since Father Ted volleyed Bishop Brennan. But so by this time, Star Wars was dead and buried. It was gone. Nobody had no interest in it. Then comes The Mandalorian. Thank God, or thank Buddha, or thank Allah, or whoever your dude is. The Mandalorian is fantastic. It's exactly what Star Wars fans wanted. I can only assume that Jon Favreau, who created The Mandalorian, being a Star Wars fan himself, must have seen the latest three films and thought, no, enough's enough. Wallop. This is Star Wars. This is what it is, and he just delivers. It's great. I mean, it looks like Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars. It uses the same props as Star Wars, the same sets, the same vehicles, the same creatures, the same characters. Well, some of the same characters, but like the same race of characters. It introduces real good characters, all essential to the plot. It brings back a couple of really good characters. And it is Star Wars. It's everything what we wanted, and so it's beautifully directed. It manages to capture that almost Western-like feel that the original three films had, and it manages to introduce possibly the cutest character we've seen since Gizmo from Gremlins, in the form of the child, or Grogu. I mean, people refer to him as Baby Yoda. It's not Baby Yoda. Oh, it's Grogu. But anyway, it's two series of The Mandalorian, and it's set directly after the events of Episode 6, or Return of the Jedi, and basically it follows the Mandalorian, who is a bounty hunter, and he's tasked to go and collect a package of interest and deliver it to a sort of unsavory character, like a sort of gangster, and the package turns out to be Grogu, and the Mandalorian has a battle of conscience, sorry, and decides, no, I'm not delivering this. I'm gonna try and take him back to his own kind. And it's just brilliantly, it's beautifully made, it's well directed, and even though there's an ongoing storyline running right across the two series, each episode's got its own individual story attached to it. So there's something going all the time. You don't get the point where you've just watched an episode for an hour and nothing really's happened in it. And it's well acted. I mean, all the people in it act really well, and Pedro Pascal, who plays the Mandalorian, he actually managed to do something really clever. I mean, he spends 95% of the show with his face covered, where the Mandalorian wears a mask, but he still manages to get across the emotion the character's feeling, even though he can't use any facial expressions, which is really quite impressive. But I say it's really, really, really entertaining. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to love it. If you just like sci-fi, you're going to enjoy it. And there's rumoured to be a third series as well, which is quite an interesting thought. And the last 10 minutes of the final episode of Series 2, something happens in it that Star Wars fans have been screaming for since Return of the Jedi. It's amazing. It gives you goosebumps when you watch it. I mean, you know, me and my daughter, when we were watching it, we were bouncing up and down on the settee like crazy. You know, we had more bounce than Zebedee. It was brilliant. And I'm saying it's something Star Wars fans will absolutely love. But as I say, you know, this is always just my opinion. I think it's great. I think it was exactly what Star Wars needed, exactly what Star Wars fans wanted, and it leads in nicely to the next instalment for Star Wars, which is the Book of Boba Fett, which looks like it's going to be really good as well. I mean, if it's half as good as The Mandalorian, it's going to be great. As you probably gathered, I really liked it, and so yeah, please give it a watch. If you're a Star Wars fan and you've got a bit disheartened or bored with the franchise after the last three crap films, watch this and it will completely restore your faith in Star Wars, and it will really get you back into the franchise. But overall, I'm going to give this a big 4.5 Stay Puffs out of 5. But watch it, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you later. And sorry about the rant.